evening, good day, good afternoon, depending on what time you're watching the show. Welcome, ignorant millennials. I'm Lesedi, and I am joined by my lovely stylist, among other things, Mauree. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for coming. Hey,
it's a pleasure.
I mean, I know that you're a very busy woman.
No, for this I made time.
No, I mean, even with the recent attacks, like we needed you to be here. And the reason why we have Mauree, well, before I get into why we have you here, who are you? I mean, they just know your name, but why are you here? What do you do? What's your 9 to 5? What are you about, and where are you from?
You mean why am I here on this show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well,
I thought in this country.
Yeah, why are you in our country? Mauree is from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
No, so just what do you do? And,
yeah, I get it. I was just checking with you. I'm Mauree. I'm from Zimbabwe. I've been here for about 9 years now.
9 years.
Yes, and I'm a beautician.
So if you're wondering who did my twists, she does my hair like most of the time. Love it, like since grade 9. And just a disclaimer, Maureen would come to our houses and actually do our hair. And at the time I was in grade 9, and it was unheard of to have a stylist come to you when you're not in a specific tax bracket. So I think you're one of the pioneers that started Uber hair or mobile hair.
Yeah.
So you know,
thank you.
This is why we don't want you in our country. I'm joking.
Thank you for the compliment.
But you know what has been happening in the country, and we're trying to get a feel of how you as a foreigner are feeling. I think in the recent, we've had xenophobic attacks or Afrophobic attacks, you know, all right through, even before apartheid and post-apartheid. I think the one time there was, I think in 2008, there was a Somalian that was attacked in Jeffreys Bay, and the xenophobia attack sort of spiked then. And I know you were in South Africa at the time, so we'll also touch on that. But the most recent one that has been happening and trending, and everybody's talking about it, is what happened with Jabu Baloyi, the taxi driver who was shot by a Nigerian allegedly because he was selling drugs, and Jabu was literally just trying to do what our government or our police people should be doing, and stopping the drugs from selling. And I think that's sort of what started everything, and that's why we have you on the show now, because then attacks started to happen against foreign nationals, most especially people from Africa, you know, in the African continent. So I wanted to know how have the recent attacks affected you?
First of all, it's kind of weird when someone says you're a foreigner in South Africa, because I feel like if I'm in Africa, I'm at home. You know, I don't really feel like a foreigner if I'm in Africa. I feel like as Africa, we should just be one.
Yeah.
Okay, and then touch on that. I don't think. Okay, I know the taxi driver got shot by a dealer. I don't know where they're from, but they're a foreigner.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what actually started these attacks, because I remember recently also there was a time when the police was taking goods from foreigners who were selling fake things in Joburg.
Yeah, and
then apparently those people started like throwing stones and fighting the police. So I think people were actually angry from that incident, like, okay, so you're here in our country, and then now you have the audacity to fight the police, you know, who are trying to do their job. So I think it started from then. That's when people were just angry from them. And then when this guy got shot, that's when broke loose. But I think it started from that time. I think this thing is something that's been building, you know. I think like people were just trying to suppress their emotions, but then with all these things that happened,
this was like the straw that broke
it was back, just like a volcano, kind of and then it just erupted. Now.
And like how, like, because for me as a South African, like if somebody stops, because I know they were testing you from a different country by checking, or what is this, you know, but exactly. So I walk around in town and I feel fine. But for you, how has it affected you, the attacks? Like, do you feel like you can't walk around as freely as you could anymore, or how are you feeling?
Okay, for future use, what's this called?
Oh, this thing is Java. I mean, I might be saying like, it's Java, I'm lying. It's Java.
You don't even know.
No, but I got the gist of it, you know.
Okay, all
right.
But
yeah. So say it, just so we know you can say it properly.
It's Java, na?
Yo!
Is it wrong?
Yes. Anyway.
Okay. I hope I won't be in that situation. But anyway, the thing that, like me, I have my papers, I have a permit and everything. Like, I'm not here illegally. And then the thing that scares me is if I meet those people who attack foreigners, are they going to ask me for my ID first before they attack me, or they just say, okay, you're not from here, and then I get attacked, And I also have cousins, my uncles who stay in the locations. It's unfortunate. I'm blessed because where I stay, they don't attack us. They don't do such things. People just mind their business. They do their thing, but it's also very expensive. It's expensive.
Where do you stay?
I stay in Centurion, so it's very expensive, but it's safe. And then I also have people that I know who cannot afford.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, they have to stay in those places. You can imagine how you feel when they're telling you, we can hear gunshots outside, but those things are being burnt outside, and you're thinking, are you going to get that phone call to say your cousin has been burnt or what? It's just not. It's very nerve-wracking. Like, I've been having anxiety attacks the past week because I'm just waiting maybe to get a phone call like, something has happened. So I'm not really affected, but it's affecting me in some way.
And also with your family living in those... and do you think it's because of the location people are in? Because now I know you mentioned that, like, where you're staying right now, you don't feel like you might be attacked, right? Like physically, like gunshots or whatever. But I know, do you get comments, when you walk at a mall about, oh my gosh, look at this foreigner, or...
Yeah, I get that a lot. I get that sometimes. Like, someone would think, even like in a shop, maybe using your passport to buy something is like your ID, and someone will pass a comment in Zulu or whatever. My father is Ndebele, so I kind of understand Zulu. And someone will say, these foreigners, you can actually see the annoyance. And then the thing is, sometimes I don't feel like standing up for myself because I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. How they're going to react to me standing up for myself. So some of these things they hurt, but there's nothing you can do about it. Just smile and walk away.
Yeah.
And just be like, what, it's fine, it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't take it personally, because if I did, it would actually break me.
Yeah. And how do you think your family is, like, how do you stay in contact with your family to, like, put them at ease in terms of what's happening now? Because I know the ones in the township, like your family that's in Tembisa and whatever, you worry about them. Oh, and also, just before we get into that, do you think it's an education thing as well, in terms of, like, you feel safer in Pretoria or in Centurion, but Tembisa or the other townships or Ekurhuleni,
yeah, very much.
Do you feel a bit? Do you think it's an education thing, or what do you think? How do the people in Centurion act differently from the ones in Ekurhuleni?
I feel like most people in Centurion, actually, like, it's only houses and offices, you see. So people come there, they usually come from other places to come to work here or whatever,
Yeah.
So I also think it has something to do with the education, because I don't think if you have a job, a 9-to-5 job, you can have time to
say, you're stealing my job.
Because I've also met foreigners who are doctors, who are nurses. I've met a Nigerian who's a lawyer. I've met a Nigerian who's an engineer. So I'm thinking, obviously they went to school, to get there. So how do they steal a job? And do you think someone who's studying engineering can go in the street and start fighting?
We don't know. Might be.
I don't.
But now that you mention,
I don't think so.
I hear what you're saying.
I don't think so,
like,
because they are busy. They have something
because
to
now
do.
you don't feel threatened by their person.
No, exactly. They don't, because they have their own thing going. You get it.
Yeah.
So I don't leave you.
And just talking about being in the workplace and people starting and coming over, I know you worked at a very well-known franchise. And how was your experience like being a foreign national, being Zimbabwean and working with South Africans in that? And I know that you went high in the rankings. Like, you started off as a receptionist, built your way up to sort of like managing the store. How did they react to you? Did any horrible things happen to you while you were there?
I can say maybe 40% of them were like genuine people, like they were actually happy for me to be there. But then the other 60%, you see that sometimes when you maybe give them something to do, like, guys, do this, or you say something today to them, you see like they're annoyed, like, why is this foreigner telling us what to do, And you're thinking, but I applied for the job. If you wanted, you could have also have applied, For me to be here means I qualify to be here. So it doesn't matter where I'm coming from or whatever. this is my job and I have to do my job, you know. So I remember like the other time I actually had to stand up for another girl, like, you cannot talk to me like that. You know, she was swearing at me in her language because I told her to do something, you know. And then she was like swearing at me, and I went there, I said, no, you cannot do that. If you have something to say, just say it to my face. Don't do that. And say it in language that I also understand. Yeah. You know. So I also feel like that was kind of an attack, you know.
Yes, exactly. But now, I know now we had to fetch you now from the Gau train. What I'm trying to understand as well is that, do you feel safe when you're commuting in Joburg? Like, how's the climate like there? Given the recent attacks.
Okay, I get it. To tell you the truth, I was actually in Joburg yesterday, CBD, and it was quiet, like nothing was happening. I actually went to Orange Farm yesterday. It was okay. Orange Farm is also like a location. Yeah. But there was nothing happening there. Even this morning I came back from Joburg, everything was fine. Like, I was actually expecting the West when I went there, but...
And you're expecting the West because of the news or what's on social media? Do you reckon that social media, because I know like all of us are celebrities on Instagram, do you think social media in terms of the attacks have made it bigger than it is? Like, what's the role of social media in informing people of what's happening?
Unfortunately, I feel like sometimes people actually exaggerate the situation, you know, using social media. Because I remember someone was sending me videos like, look what's happening. And this person is in Zimbabwe, and I'm here. And it turned out that video, I actually saw it last year. It was not even a xenophobic attack.
So it had nothing to do with what's happening now?
It was someone who was stolen in Ubro and they were getting beaten and bent. It was a South African, actually. But people now are circulating and saying that this is a foreigner, look what's happening. I say, people must stop doing that, you know? Because now people you are creating like unnecessary panic. Because my mom watched that video and she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, Mommy, this is a video from long back. Even the other pictures that I see on social media, they are pictures from long back,
and it's like now difficult to then like decide, okay, what's true and what's not. And
that's the thing. And sometimes even people sending you messages on the 10th of September there's going to be a march, and then you're like, who told you that, you know?
Because I know even with the my brother has a business in Tembisa, and he called my mom panicking because the Pakistanis and the Somalians were going to fetch girl children at schools and things like that. And that really, you know, in Centurion we were just like, and Joburg, I was at Randburg at the time. And I was like, no guys, like we're fine here. But it's just like, it's almost like a propaganda, or we're being...
People using this whole situation to... you know, for their own, I don't even know what's the point then. I don't even know what's the point. Because I also saw that about the kids. I was like, what? They say Nigerians are going to kidnap kids in schools. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know, actually someone said kids had been kidnapped.
Exactly. And how does it make you feel when people say, you Zimbabweans are here to steal our jobs, and you said you were not here illegally, but I'm not, when I attack you, I'm not going to ask for your permits and stuff like that. So then how does it make you feel to then say, like, actually... You know, because a lot of time we don't even know. Oh, before we sort of get into that, why are you in South Africa? How did you get here?
It's not so obvious. Okay.
No, for our viewers.
It's fine. No, it's fine. I get it. You see, when I left Zimbabwe, it was around 2008 there. Yeah. Things got so bad, like so bad. Like the prices were going up every hour. Sometimes there's no things in the shop. The money was just useless. You know that I've actually been a millionaire before in Zim. I've been a trillionaire.
Mauree,
I'm serious.
What does that mean?
Like, out there, like the money, you have money like 1 trillion, but you know, you buy only like bread.
Like, I don't mean to laugh, because when I was in grade 9, there was a whole ad about, there was a guy that had a wheelbarrow of coins, and then the caption was off to buy bread.
That's true.
But it's not a joke.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
We'll get into that because I think Robery Mugabe, may his soul rest in peace. But I know you're very opinionated about your former president, but we'll get into that. So why are you in South Africa, and what made you come in South Africa? So the situation was bad in Zim, but what made you think, oh, South Africa is like our saving grace, or what was the reason you came here?
Because then I came, South Africa was almost like the London of Africa. you know, because like everybody's going there, you know, everyone was like, it's the land of dreams, you know, Joburg, the city of God.
Yeah.
But the only God I'm seeing is God truth and stuff. That's a joke. Okay, let me be serious. You know,
John throwing jabs at us, saying that the only goats in South Africa are goat teeth. Yeah. Okay.
That's a joke. I'm just trying to
lighten up the mood. We have to.
So like I was so hopeless at home. You know, there was nothing to do. You have your school and everything. You have your education. You've been going to school, but you just cannot get a job. You know, and things are getting hard, and your family is there. So you're like, you know what? Maybe let me go somewhere else. You know, to get something better. And then that's when I came here. And I also couldn't find a job like immediately. That's when I started doing this mobile hair thing. That's when it came up, and then it grew. You know, I'm still doing it now, and then it just grew.
And do you feel like South Africa then became a safe haven? Because I know you've got family in Tebisa.
Yeah.
You have family. You know, I understand that some of your family members came to live with you now. But do you still feel the same way that this is the land of opportunities? Do you still feel safe?
Yeah, definitely I feel safe, but. You know, it's actually very sad that besides me being a foreigner, with this thing of women being killed and raped, now it's like I'm scared because I'm a foreigner, and then I'm scared because I'm a woman as well, because of my gender, you know. I'm scared because of where I'm coming from. I'm scared because of my gender, you know.
It's like you can't win.
It's like, you know what I mean, like it's just you're stuck in between, you know. Even if you think, okay, let me go back home, you're thinking, what am I going to do at home as well? So
do you think of moving back home, like even with the recent attacks? And I know your brother called you the one time and he's like, hey, maybe you should come back home, you know, because of the social media thing that we've already covered. But do you actually, would you consider moving back home? Do you think the situation is better or?
Definitely not better.
Really?
I do think about it sometimes, but then you think, okay, because now it's actually getting worse than it was when I left. So now you're thinking,
Zimbabwe.
Now you're thinking, if I go back, then what? I'm better off here than I am at my own. And it's so sad that I'm better off somewhere where I can actually be attacked than being at home, because
and
there's
attacked
nothing
based
to
on your foreign nationality
and
being a female. It's okay. But now how's the climate like at home now that Zimbabwe home, not South Africa home, now that your former president has passed away? I know as South Africans we're all like, he's a Pan-Africanist and he's a president that all our presidents should have been, but he celebrated Pan-Africanism, but then he went to get medical attention at Singapore, you know, so people are in between, where he celebrated as a hero but also as a sellout, and I use it lightly, this word loosely, I mean. So how's the climate back at home, and how do you feel about your former president now being
Okay, that's an interesting question. Okay, you know, in our culture we say don't talk ill of the dead, you know. We say when someone has died, they're a good person. But I mean, we have to talk about it. Either way. I agree with you that he was a
Pan-Africanist.
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
And actually, I salute him on that.
Yeah.
But I feel like just the fact that he didn't die in his own country, it says a lot. That means our own hospitals, they cannot even they don't even have, like, you got there's no medicine. And I think to myself, okay, him at least he has the chance to go to get treatment somewhere. What about my grandmother in the village?
Yes.
Who has to walk 10 kilometers to get treatment, and then she gets there's no medication, there's nothing, you know? It's really sad. So I'll say, he was he's a, I can say he's a hero to some, you know? Everyone is allowed to have a hero. I mean, even if it's Peter Pan, whatever, everyone is allowed to have a hero.
It's Peter Pan,
you know? So I feel like, I actually don't know how I feel. You won't believe it. I actually don't know how I feel like. I feel like in the beginning he was okay. In the beginning, like, I even loved him.
Yes.
But then I feel like he overstayed, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like if he had just been there when Paul loved him and left, I was going to be like, wow. Even now we're going to be like, yo, this is the Martin Luther King.
Yeah, exactly. Because he did do, your education system is incredible.
I know. Yeah.
Incredible, but unfortunately.
You see.
But you know what they say, about absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like his ideas were good. You understand? Like trying to empower the black people. But I feel like the way they went about it what's the problem.
yeah.
Because before even the land issue, Zimbabwe was the breadbasket of Africa. We're supplying maize to other countries, but now we are begging for maize, you see. Because you take a farm, you give me a farm, what am I going to do with the farm? You know, I'm black, but what am I going to do with the farm? I don't even know what to do.
So that's that, yeah.
So I feel like he had a good idea, you know.
But
he had
just the
us, he had us,
yes.
he had us in his mind, like, okay, let me do this for my people.
Yeah.
But then I feel like the way it was done, it just ruined everything.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah, but may his soul rest in peace.
And how's the climate like now? Like, do you call your mom? Do you think his passing will make a revolution?
Nope.
Oh.
I mean, it's actually getting worse than when he was in power. So I don't know. His death, you know, he died, but the mess he left is still there.
Yeah.
He didn't die with his mess. We still have to
to
face it every day. So yeah. But everyone is having mixed emotions. I was listening to a show on radio the other day. Like, everyone was having, some people were saying, yeah, he was a hero, but there's always that but, you know, like, yeah, he did this, but. And someone was like, but he gave us a good education. I said, yeah, but I'm here with my education. What am I doing? You know, I'm here with my English. What am I doing with my English? You know? Yeah.
So I guess, Maureen, thank you. But before you leave, I have one question for you, or not question, but I want something in closing around first your experience so far in South Africa, and also anything you'd like to say to your fellow Africans, that include African in J. If you're in the continent, what do you have to say given the recent? Yeah, but let's start off with.
Okay, I'd like to say, you know, before I'm black, before I'm a Zimbabwean, before I'm a Nigerian, I'm a human, you know. So I feel like the way some of these people are being treated, it's just inhuman, you know. Because at the end of the day, we are all humans, we are all black, we are all people, you know. And also I would like to say something, you know, like when people maybe at home call me and ask me, these South Africans are crazy, these Africans are crazy. I've also met good South Africans, eh?
Exactly.
Like, I've been blessed to meet the best South Africans, you know, educated, calm, honest, and everything. So I don't like this thing that people are just saying, I'm a South African. No, I've met awesome South Africans. So, and I'm not going to take that away from them, you know, because of these few people who are doing these things.
Yeah.
You know? So I just feel like, let's bring back the spirit of Ubuntu, you know?
Yeah.
We are one.
Yeah.
If someone is, let's say they're illegal, whatever, I'm not saying people must do whatever they want, you know? Criminals must be arrested, even if they have to be deported, it's fine. People without papers, they can be arrested and deported. Just don't ban them or whatever. And I feel like your government should have done something before this thing exploded into this, you know, this drug problem and whatever. I feel like,
and I mean, I know our president came out and had a whole speech about the attacks and everything else. Just my personal opinion was that I felt like it was very generic what he was saying in terms of all the attacks, because here's somebody that can really put policy into place and like make the people who are meant to be accountable, and that's how I feel. And then you feel the same way, I'm understanding.
Yeah,
but
I feel like the problem has been left, you know, for even for
simmer.
You know, even for a taxi driver to go and now say that means that he's been seeing it, you know, for him to take the law into to want to take action. You know, so I feel like these things, they should have been solved when they're just starting, you know, not when people are angry like this. I understand the anger, you know, because they've been watching these things happening, and now it's like all the apples are the same. They're all fraud. And I'd also like to say, please, let's stop killing women. Let's stop raping and killing women.
Anyone really? Anyone really?
Yeah.
Maureen, thank you so much for being here today. You heard it from Maureen. Before we're anything else, we are human, and we need to practice the spirit of Ubuntu. We need to be positive. We're all trying to figure out this life thing, and we can't be fighting against each other no matter what race, no matter what gender. We're here to have a positive experience in this life thing. And yeah, let's protect each other. Let's be brothers and sisters. Let's stand up for each other, and let's have fun in this life thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.